Well, Republicans. As a teacher, I just got information that you're planning to cut another $5 billion from education. How dare you guys talk about failing schools when all you do is take money from the funds that go toward it? Do you expect a quality program with peanuts? There is no way you can have proper education without proper supplies. And unfortunately, it is very expensive to provide a quality education. Just the other day, I started developing some kind of technology plan for a class I have to take on. It's a Doctor of Education class. I had to come up with a technology plan which required me to do some research in budgets. Just the technology aspect of education. If it is to be quality education, it can be very expensive. A school of, say, 546 students to have state of the art computers, teachers who are qualified enough to teach technology or even to implement technology properly in the classrooms and to keep all that technology properly maintained comes up to about close to $300,000 a year. Just the pure technology. Another area of education, of course, is the salaries. As you know, we teachers make close to nothing in the field of education. Yet we have families to support. You Republicans are raising the cost of many things, um, such as putting gasoline in our cars. What do you expect us to feed our family with? How do you expect us to pay our rent or mortgage payment? Especially with a ridiculous situation in today's world. We also have the light bill to pay, gas so I can cook my food, the water so I can wash my hands and bathe. What do you expect me to pay that with? With an increase of inflation and ridiculous thing. Oh, I also have to pay gas for my car as well. How am I to get to work to properly teach my children if I cannot stock up gasoline in my car? And you Republicans are cutting money from education and benefiting from oil things. My God. Now let's talk about another portion of school finance. A good school has proper curriculum programs in place. You see here, I'm here with my teacher editions from the courses I have to teach. This one here is our reading program. As you can see, I teach kindergarten. This one is for us to teach English language learners. Our math program, our science program. On top of that, we have our character development program, our social studies program, and these things are not cheap. These things could cost about $6,000 a pop per kid and per teacher for a classroom of 20 students. Many of the classrooms, due to the ridiculous expectations placed by many in the field of education, are becoming overcrowded, which means that the funds to be able to provide the proper materials for those students doubles per teacher in those schools. Many people like California Republicans are trying to push classrooms to kindergarten classrooms to be 30-1. Research shows that a proper classroom of proper instruction In the lower grade levels works best when the teacher-student ratio is 20 to 1. 20 students to 1 teacher. If you Republicans, if you members of government are going to insist that we use research based on all of our activities, it's time you guys look at the research as well. We teachers, by nature, look at research. Government officials who make decisions on education need to do the same. There are many other things that also need to be looked at. The maintenance of a building. Our buildings need to be safe and conducive to learning. This takes money. It takes money to fix, for example, the ceilings that in many of our schools they are falling apart, literally. Water stains on the roof from leaky roofs. Just the other day, a fellow teacher at the school where I teach, is going through situations in which the district for which I work has difficulties with plumbing. So the tubes, the pipes in the bathroom in the class she teaches in has flooded. That toilet water has come to be an inch deep in her bathroom and has flowed into her carpet. How do you expect 20 children to sit in a carpet that's wet with toilet water? We have health issues at risk here. Also, human rights issues and child safety and child endangerment issues at stake here. You cut that money, we either lose on teacher salaries, which get classes overcrowded. Hence, it takes away from the quality. Or you take away programs. Hence, students lose materials which would be very necessary in enhancing their learning, therefore affecting the quality of education. Or you are taking money away from the facilities, which means more and more students will be running the risk of going through classrooms that are in the same situation as that colleague of mine. Or, as it has been happening in my room, with this hot weather, my AC doesn't work because the school doesn't have enough money to provide my classroom with appropriate air conditioning system. All they have been able to do for my air conditioning system is periodically change a filter, which really does nothing to the situation in my room. It is ridiculous how hot it gets in there. And we expect our children to learn in that. That is inhumane. How dare the Republicans condemn the state of education when all they think is about budget cuts? $2 billion from that Schwarzenegger borrowed and refused to take until he was sued, and that had developed into $3 billion. All this money that should be going to the schools, but instead is going to a war that should not have been taking place. The cost of manufacturing one bomb is enough to provide plenty of materials for students for several years, manipulatives for several years, or a teacher salary, several teacher salaries for a couple of years. It's ridiculous. Talk about unnecessary spending. And now we have this past year we had the Republicans here in California deciding to spend, to cut 10% in education, and that budget still hasn't been passed. And now we hear that the Republicans want to cut $5 billion more, and then they dare criticize education. Put your money where your mouth is. You want quality education? Fund it properly.